Hi, in this video I'm going to show the relationship between the ISY 994i and the ELK alarm system M1 Gold or the EZ8. Now, for purposes of this video, we're going to be using the M1 XEP, which is the Ethernet interface for your ELK alarm system. There's also a C1M1, so whatever one you're using, the software is going to have you spell that out. But let's go ahead and go through the steps. This is not going to be a video specifically on the ISY or the ELK, but showing the relationship between the two and how you would set it up. Alright, let's go ahead and get started. So the first thing is I want to show you the configuration page, and this is where we're going to input some information we get from our ELK RP software. So if I go to my configuration tab and click on system, I'm going to see this box here. It's got some empty options. The only ones that we're going to use are the first three. We'll leave the other ones blank. Then I'm going to go to my RP software. I'm going to open it up. I've set an account up, and I need to now find the M1 XEP that I have connected. If you're new to this, the M1 XEP is a serial Ethernet interface. It's got an Ethernet in and then it's serial out with a DB9 cable that goes from the M1 XEP to your ELK M1 Gold, or it goes to the serial expander interface, and then from there a Cat5 cable plugs into your EZ8. So based on which one you have, you might need another component that goes in between. In any event, once that's connected, the only way to add it into your ELK system is you have to go to the keypad. You'll go up to level 9 and you will arrow over twice. This will allow you to reboot the alarm system and have it look for any other peripherals. This is how you add it. You won't add it by software. Once it's added, now I can go and look and see if I can find it. I go to my M1 XEP, I'm going to hit find, and this is going to be the setup tab in the bottom of my software. I go out and it says, hey, I found it. And it's at 192.168.0.57. I now have the information I need to set up my ISY. Before I do that, I'm going to click Use Selected. Alright, and then I'm going to close this down. Now, I want to go test that connection. So, what I'm going to do is hit Connection, hit Network, and it should go out using the credentials, going into port 2601. You'll also have to make sure you have the correct serial number that's listed on your board. You want to make sure it matches up on your software. Now, once you've made any changes that don't match up with your software, you're going to see this screen that pops up that says, hey, I see a difference between the systems. So you have to know where you made the change. If you made it in the software, then you would click this and then you would send the information to the controller. If you made the changes by way of your keypad, you're going to want to receive that information. Now, in some cases, it won't let you mess up. Like if I said, well, I know I did it in the software, I'm going to see if I can receive it. So I'm going to hit receive. And so it's now disappeared. So this is where I added the device in through the keypad, and it found the M1 XEP. My software didn't know about it yet. You could have the reverse of it where you made software changes, but your alarm system didn't know. Next time you connect, you're going to get that screen. And you need to then know, are you sending or receiving? Now, I'm going to disconnect because I can't have my ELK alarm system and my ISY connected to the same, or the RP software and the ISY connected to the same ELK alarm system at the same time. It's only one at a time. So it's going to be 192.168.0.57. Here is one other thing, though, that I do need to do is you need to make sure that port 2101 is enabled. You'll find that by clicking on TCP/IP settings, check this box, and it should pop up with 2101. Before you disconnect, if you hit send, it'll make sure to send that information to your M1 XEP. And then it's going to reboot it. So we'll just assume that I did that and that I'm still connected. I'm going to hit send, and that's not highlighted now because I disconnected. But we're going to go ahead and close this down. Now I'm going to go in to my ISY, and I'm going to put that information in. 192.168.0.57, port 2101, and you're going to want to use the first user code that you have in your alarm system. 3456 is the default if you hadn't changed it. But if you did, look at your users, look at user 1 and see what its code is and go put that in. Now I'm going to hit save. If I've done everything correct, it's going to pop up and say, hey, I'm trying to connect to the ELK security system. And once it has, it's going to show me a bar along the top that's got the ability to arm and disarm locally, stay. I'll be able to see my areas after it's connected. All right, looks like it's connected. Like I said, you have the ability to arm stay, arm away, disarm. I have one area set up, and now it's working as expected. What I can do is I can create an export file. That export file I can push into my ELK alarm system. So if I click on export file and I save it, and now I go into my ELK alarm system, all I have to do is simply right click and say I want to import that lighting data from my ISY. I'm going to click here. I know I happen to have saved it under desktop, and it's right at the bottom. And I'm going to say open and import. Now I have all of my devices. Now I could connect, and then this thing will allow me to click send, and I can send everything to my ELK alarm system. But for purpose of this video, I'm just going to show you how to utilize this to create a rule now. Now I can go in to rules, and let's say I just want to create a simple rule that says whenever my arm status is armed away for area 1, then I want to do a lighting control, individual device, and I want it to be my loft entry lights, and I'd like them to go off. And then I'm going to hit OK. Now, if I reconnect just by clicking on network, it's going to say, hey, I see some mismatches, and at that point you can go and save all the changes that you made. Go ahead and send them to your ELK alarm system. Once you are connected, if you were in the screen, you can simply hit send to controller. Keep in mind, once you're connected with the ELK, your ISY won't be connected. I've even found myself doing that occasionally when I'm working in both systems, and then I go back to the ISY and wondering why it says it's not connected. And it's simply because I'm still logged into it in the software. The software now sort of has a timeout feature. If you're not doing something, eventually it'll log you out. Now, there is another option. If I want to go in and purchase the ELK module, this is an optional software module that lets you pull all of my ELK programming and my keypad statuses and zones and things like that. I can pull them in to my ISY. And then I can do all my programming in the ISY. I could go under purchase modules and simply purchase it. Now, since I already have, I'm just going to go into manage modules. It says, hey, there's a new module to load. I'm going to say OK, and it's going to reboot my ISY. Now, while it's rebooting, let me go ahead and I'm going to connect here, and I'll just show you what this looks like. I would expect to see some mismatches. You can see where it says it's connecting for or checking for conflicts. And I've got all these new lighting loads now that showed up in software that the alarm system knows nothing about. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to click select all, and I am going to send all of those to the controller. Anything that it can send, it will send. It'll pause on something that it says, wait a minute, I can't send it because I don't have it. And that you'll have to receive. But I would expect that all these I'll be able to send. So I'm going through all probably 200 or close to it different lighting descriptions. You can do up to 256. Okay, now it's done. You can see here, here's where that box is highlighted, and I can just send any programming I do once I'm connected. I can just click here and send those right to your alarm system, and the alarm system will be able to act on those right away. Let's go ahead and disconnect again. Now that it's rebooting, you'll notice I have now a fourth tab up here that says ELK. Right? When I click on it, it now pulls in zones and other descriptions that I have. I also have all the outputs that I can turn on and off and control through software in the ISY. Let me give you an example of what one of those programs might look like. So now if I am in the ISY and I can do all my programming there, I'm going to click on Programs. I'm going to go down to New Program. We'll just call it ELK Test. And I could say something like, if control of my DEN keypad, let's pick another one. Kitchen keypad button A is on. Then, and I would go down to my ELK system, and now I have all these options of things that I can do. All right, go into keypad 1, and I want to maybe press the F1 button based on that. So in essence, I'm taking a button push on an Insteon keypad, I'm having it mimic the F1 button, which could be a fire call, or could be an automation function, could be whatever I've programmed it to be. I can have it mimic that. I can go into other things. Maybe I want to trigger an output. So a specific output that I want to send out to open up a gate. Now I push a button and my ELK alarm system is sending out one of its powered outputs. So you get the gist of it. You can have all of your programming done in the ISY by adding that module, and you can have a lot of interrelationships now between those two systems. Or you can keep it simple. You can just export all of your lighting data right from your ISY into your ELK system and do the conditional logic programming that's related to both of those systems. You can do it all in your ELK. I hope this video was helpful, and keep posted for new videos.